Okay, so this is called special fraction subtraction because if we take a look at this problem here, there's something a little off about it. So when you're doing problems like this, we can see that they already both have a common denominator. And we can see that we have 9 and 1/6 minus 4 and 3/6. So just like regular subtraction, when the ones place is smaller, the ones place that's on top is smaller than the ones place on the bottom, like for example 51 minus 19, we would have to borrow from the tens place. We borrow 1 10, give the 10 to the 11, give the 10 to the 1, make it 11, and then we can subtract. We're going to do the same thing in this case. So we need to borrow 1 whole from the 9. So we're going to cross out the 9, make it an 8, and we've borrowed 1 whole. Since we're working with 6, we have to think about how many 6 are in 1 whole. And the answer is 6, 6. So since we're borrowing 1 whole, we're borrowing 6, 6 from the 9. We take this 6, 6 and add it to the 1 6, making this 7, 6. Notice I didn't just add a 1 to the top. I added 6, 6 to 1 6 and got 7, 6. Now I can subtract. 7, 6 minus 3, 6 is 4, 6. And 8 minus 4 equals 4. I can simplify this by dividing 4 and 6 both by 2, and I get an answer of 4 and 2/3. So the directions on how to do that are here in the think about questions. If you go all the way to the bottom, you can see we have 2 practice problems. So it says rewrite vertically if you prefer. I like doing my fraction problems vertically. I think it makes more sense to me. So I'm going to rewrite them vertically. So I noticed that this one already has common denominators. I have a 1/5 on top and a 4/5 on the bottom, so I'll need to borrow here. This one, I don't have common denominators. So I have to think about what a common denominator would be for 5 and 6. And rewrite those fractions with new numerators. And then go ahead and subtract. I'm also going to need to borrow for this one. Go ahead and pause the video, give it a try, and see what you get. Okay, so for this one, we need to borrow from the 8. The 8 becomes a 7, and we're going to borrow 5/5, because that's what we're working with. So 5/5 and 1/5 make 6/5, and now we can subtract. 6/5 minus 4/5 is 2/5, and 7 minus 2 is 5. And that problem's already simplified because there's no number that can go into both 2 and 5 besides 1. For this one, we have 6 and 5, so we're going to rewrite using our common denominator of 30. 5 times 6 gives me 30, and 2 times 6 gives me 12. 6 times 5 gives me 30, and 5 times 5 gives me 25. If you don't have this set up, I want you to go ahead and pause the video, get it set up like this, and then try your borrowing problem. If you do have it set up like this, you can just keep playing the video. So we're going to borrow from the 6 and make it a 5. Again, we're borrowing 1 whole, so we're going to borrow 30 30ths. So 30 and 12 makes 42. And then we're going to go ahead and subtract. 42 minus 25 is 17 30ths. And 5 minus 3 is 2. And again, this is already simplified as well. Go ahead and come see me for 2 practice problems on special fraction subtraction, and then you can do your exit ticket.